I don't know what that was or what I did right, but I need to figure out how to do that on actual drives. Holy cow, we're gonna be watching that footage. Howdy YouTube fam, we are out here at the Old Colony Disc Golf Course, and I asked on Instagram, which if you aren't following me, well, you should join me because we rock all night and party every day, so go follow me. What would you guys rather see a video on, upshots or putting? And the vote was upshots, and here's why I'm really excited to do upshots, because if you can nail upshots, you're gonna take putting out of the question most days. You may be asking yourself, what are 3 things that every single upshot needs to have, or what should we be thinking about during every single good upshot? Glad you asked. Let's jump on in. So our first tip is all about aiming, right? Think about where you're trying to hit when you're throwing an upshot. So for this hole is a little over 500 feet. So I threw my drive to here and I'm making my way over to the green. It's an island green. Now, I could think, well, what am I aiming for? The ultimate goal of disc golf is to land in the basket, but that's not what I'm trying to do. You see, I'm gonna draw an imaginary circle around the basket that is my putting range. Now for me, I think that my safe putting range where I feel way confident is 20 feet and in. So I'm gonna draw 20 feet in on both sides of the basket, which gives me a 40-foot circle to land in. That's right, 40 foot. Easy. Now, can I make 25-foot putts and 30-foot putts and even 45-foot putts? Sure, but I can't make those as much as I can make 20-foot putts. So your distance may be different. So find your landing zone and you're gonna aim for that target. Don't think that I'm gonna land next to the basket every time, because if you aim for the basket and you miss left, well, you're gonna be 30 feet past to the left. If you're aiming for the basket and you hit that mark when it skips or flares, right? You're also going to want to pay attention to the ground. Now, as you can see here, the ground is pretty thick grass, so wherever I land is probably where the disc is going to stick. But I want to be aware of rollaways and popping up and things like that. If you can think about what you're aiming for, that's the key to upshots. I know that Mel Gibson made us think, aim small, miss small.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
I want to aim for a doable target, not just a specific target when it comes to upshots. Now putting, that's a different story and a different video. So let's look at this upshot. I'm just gonna visualize over and over again. We practice these on the tee box, but we rarely practice our upshots. We need to visualize both. Feel the line. I picked my target, I aimed for it, and I hit it. I'm within inside my range that I feel comfortable with, and I didn't skip and flare way past the basket. That's what I was supposed to do. So I got it there and I executed the shot. Because I wasn't aiming for the basket, I was aiming for my landing zone. And even just barely getting in, because this grass is so thick, I'm inbounds, I have an opportunity for birdie, and I'm feeling really confident. That's the key to upshots. Always feel confident. I also wanted to take a moment to show you guys a different kind of hole. This one, the ground isn't grass, it's more wooded, and some of you play in those types of setups. So you can see here, we're talking about that landing zone once again, and the landing zone looks different for each player, and you just gotta find yours. I also wanna pay attention to what's behind the basket. If I go too far, I'm gonna be having an awkward putt, so my goal is to play the rough ground and hit soon and let it slide up, because once again, I'm not aiming for the basket, I'm aiming for my landing zone. Always focus on the landing zone. I hit at the beginning of the landing zone, and because the ground was rough and I was paying attention to what I was landing on, I was able to slide up to the basket, and from here, I don't really have to putt. My landing zone started back here, and I can make putts from back here. I feel very comfortable making putts from back here. But because I didn't aim for the basket, I aimed for my landing zone. I don't have to putt, and I'm stoked about it. Our second tip for fantastic upshots is all about visualizing the angle of the disc the entire time. What do I mean by visualizing the disc? There are 3 things that are going to affect the angle of the disc that you need to take into account while you're visualizing. And that is the ground that it's going to land on, the wind, and how you release the disc. You can control the angle with your wrist. So think about that while you're readying your upshot. Then take into account the wind. What kind of direction is it blowing in? Is it blowing right to left? If so, hyzers may not be the best idea because it's going to push you off your line. If it's blowing left to right, be ready for the hyzer to fight a little less if that's what you're going with. Then think about the ground. Once again, you're always trying to match the angle of the ground. If you come in and spike, you could have rollaways, and we all know how bad it feels to be unlucky. And you can take the luck out of it if you think about the angle for that upshot. Not all upshots are hyzers, so sometimes you have to come up with something different. You can still visualize and use all of those tips when you're throwing a flip to flat or a straight shot. Just because you're not throwing a hyzer doesn't mean you can't do these things. Our third tip may seem a little weird, but it's this. Great upshots are made from setup prior shot. How can we word this differently? If you're thinking about your upshot when you throw the prior shot, you're going to allow yourself to have incredible upshots. If you don't think about the next shot or a landing zone, you're going to be in trouble most of the time trying to make a good upshot. So let's take this hole for example. You can see way out in the field that there's a triple mando sitting in front of the basket. Now, a triple mando is going to be pretty tough to hit, but I'm not thinking to myself, I'm going to hit that off the tee box. What I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare myself for a great upshot because this is a par 4 and par 4s are beautiful for upshots. If you are crushing your upshots, you're going to get birdies on most par 4s. You see, rather than just getting up and being like, distance time, I'm gonna let myself say, all right, I may not get 100 feet farther, I may not get 50 feet farther, but my upshot is gonna be way easier landing on the right side than it is if I just played something big and hyzered out to the left. So, notice here, I played something that was overstable and was going to crash me in the middle of the fairway on purpose. Obviously, the distance monster shot worked out and got me way farther, like it's way there. But rather than just going for pure distance, I told myself I want to have a good upshot because a good upshot here is a birdie. If I throw a bad drive, well, I don't know that that's necessarily going to be a good shot for me. But from here, pretty much a guaranteed birdie. So, I just have to throw a smooth upshot considering all the things we talked about before, and my birdie should be pretty much guaranteed because I set myself up on this shot. So that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope that you can get out there and throw some beautiful upshots. I know some of these seem pretty logical, but if you can start visualizing them, I promise your upshots are going to start getting better. I do want to go ahead and say that for me, anything inside of 200 feet feels like an upshot for me, whether that's on the fairway or off the tee box. And I know it can look pretty simple sometimes when you watch the videos. And when we watch pros do it, they feel like they're throwing upshots inside of 300 feet. But keep in mind how many upshots they've thrown in their career. If you're just getting into disc golf or you're just starting to practice some of these things for upshots, it may not park every time and it may not feel that simple. But keep with it, keep practicing. I always tell myself, if I'm prepping for a tournament, I'd rather spend time prepping upshots and putting than driving. Because, once again, if I'm nailing upshots that day, I don't need to be putting well, and I really don't need to be driving well because I'm going to save par with excellent upshots every time. So, I hope that these tips help, and I hope that your upshots start improving today, even as you practice them. Thanks for coming to the channel, guys. Hope you liked the video. Hit the like button, hit that bell, subscribe. New content every Thursday, and I'm working on a special one for you guys to talk about the little content behind here as a little bonus video. So get excited for that. I know all you board game fans out there. Let's go. And if the Boda Brothers were watching, maybe we'll try that birdie game soon and play a video of that. Let me know what you think. Love you guys. We'll see you in the next video. And I'm going to leave you with the birdie.